I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Hello, it's Oops the Podcast. I'm Francis. He's Giulio. Hey, G, how are you, pal?
What up, dog? How you doing?
Feeling good, man. Good to see you. You're looking fresh, fresh as a daisy.
You know, fucking dude. During COVID, I put all my shit in in my laundry, and I've just been wearing the same clothes for 4 months. And I recently went home and did laundry, and now I just have new T-shirts that were my old T-shirts but seem new.
That's a great feeling. That is a great feeling. From March to June, I had only a gym bag worth of clothes that I was living in.
Totally.
Maybe it was March to May. And the lack of variety got depressing.
Totally. It's a total bummer.
There's something that really affirms the kind of the days being the exact same as the day before when you're wearing the same outfits that you've worn every, you know what I mean?
Totally, dude.
That sucks. I have to tell you, that, and I hate to say this, but I've been having some really sad moments.
Really? I mean, that different than early in COVID? What are the nuances?
Yeah. I've had some sort of sharply felt moments of what the fuck is the point
Of what? Everything?
Yeah, and I hate to even bring it up because I like to think that our podcast is an upbeat diversion for a lot of people. It's very low stakes. It's you and me sort of pontificating about whatever goofy shit we come up with and the normal happenings of our days, and I hope it's diverting for people, which I think it is because people send us messages saying as much. However, it would be wrong of me not to pretend like I don't succumb every once in a while to spiraling fits of I won't go so far as to say depression, but just real darkness and sadness. And over the last 4 or 5 days, there's been a cloud over me, a gloom.
I'm sorry, man. That's a bummer.
I feel better today. And so I kind of want to focus on that.
Okay.
And I think that, one thing I did was I shared my feelings with my parents.
Always helpful.
Yeah. I got this road date. I got a road date in Indianapolis to go play Helium in Indianapolis. And it was a great headlining weekend, and they had a limited capacity at the club, 125 seats. It was going to be 5 shows, Thursday, 2 Friday, 2 Saturday. Check into a fucking Holiday Inn, whatever, your old-fashioned classic road stand-up comedy date that I used to get so excited about, and I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it for a couple of reasons. One, I wasn't even sure if once I flew there, would I then have to come back and quarantine for 14 days or struggle to get some kind of rapid test and wait for the results again? I mean, the fucking shit that you got to go through to go anywhere right now is prohibitive.
Dude, totally. More on that coming up, but
yeah, I'm going to continue. Mr. fucking where in the world is Carmen Sandiego over here? Doesn't seem to be holding you back too much.
Well, dude, no, it's been a pain in the ass. But dude, I don't want to. I want to talk more about this. I mean, dude, I'm sorry you're not feeling great, but I think that like you said, you're feeling better today, and I think that's an important lesson that there's always brighter days ahead. No matter how.
Yeah. I tend to become, when I'm down, I become very closed off, and I sort of marinate in my bleakness. And I think that's true for a lot of people. And I think that what happened was a couple things lined up. The uncertainty of everything and the confusion and the uncertainty of the next year is always so hard for me to think about. I can't parse anything out. I find myself looking on Zillow for rental apartments in New York for when my lease is up in January, for rental apartments in Portland, Maine, in case we decide to move up here, for sale homes in Maine in case we decide to move up here permanently. And to have such broad filters in your home search is indicative of not knowing anything about your own life.
Yeah.
In 3 or 4 months. And that's never been the case. I've been surprised by jobs and I've been surprised by where life took me before, but it was never like, I just never had a 4 month, 6 month, 1 year runway where I had no idea where to even begin trying to plan for it.
Right.
And that's hard, but this bleakness, this feeling that I've been having over the last couple of days came more from what excites me anymore. Starting to feel, or I was feeling as if I was not capable of happiness. That I wasn't finding joy in the things that used to make me happy. I wasn't enjoying playing golf anymore. I'm not really enjoying the TV shows we're watching at night on the couch.
Exercise.
I'm not really eating that much anymore. In exercise, I'm not that excited about. I don't care really about how I look. This was crazy. We went to LL Bean on Saturday.
Classic Maine activity.
Yeah, we went to LL Bean right in town here, and I hadn't been shopping in a retail store in 6 months.
Right.
And frankly, I haven't even bought that much stuff online. So there's a joy, as we've said, in your credit cards being low. But we went into LB and I was excited to maybe buy some shirts, do a little back to school shopping for the fall as the seasons change, right? And I picked out a flannel shirt that I really liked. It looked good on me. Went into the to the dressing room. My girlfriend, actually, they let her come in there with me. And I was like, this seems risky because we could pipe and there are kids around. We didn't. I
did that once, by the way.
No.
In the dressing room, yeah.
Nordstrom. Did the door go all the way to the floor?
The curtain did not.
So they could see that your feet were facing the same direction?
We made sure that we stepped deep into the changing room so that feet would be difficult to spot.
Or you could have picked her up and then they would have been like, where'd she go?
We could have done that too.
I don't know. I don't know if you have the bicep strength necessary. That's all biceps. That's all biceps.
I'm surprised those are even open, dude.
Yeah. Well, Maine's in really good shape.
That's fantastic.
So I picked out these shirts. I found this really cool hooded flannel that had lining, sort of goat lining. And then a nice sort of pullover fleece type thing. 3 things. It's going to be about $320 or something.
Jesus, that's a lot.
I walked up, LL Bean, high quality, man, lifetime guarantee.
HQ.
I get into the line. I wait in line for the cashier for probably 10 to 15 minutes. It was a long line. I got up to her. She said, is that all? Did you find everything you needed today? And I looked down at the 3 items, the pile of clothes in my arms, and I just said, you know what? I don't need this. And I walked away. And then I was so depressed for the rest of the day. There was something about realizing in the moment that I don't need new clothes because who cares? It was a very specific trigger for me. Of like, I don't need variety in my life. I don't need to look good for anybody. And what a sad thing to do in front of my girlfriend too.
Did she console you?
She tried.
What a funny consolation moment. Like, listen, baby, it's okay if you don't want these clothes. Like, there's something so unique about that situation.
I know.
Maybe we gotta get you back in New York or something.
Well, I've thought about that, and I'll be back in we'll be back next week, and then coming back to Maine for another week or whatever, and then we're back in New York full time. We're planning to be. And I just saw today that de Blasio said no restaurants likely to open indoors until June of next summer.
Crazy.
Which means comedy clubs, which means a pretty bleak winter, dude.
Yeah.
And, whenever I talk like this, people who listen to the podcast in New York try to send encouraging things like, don't get so down on the city. It's going to come back. And it will. Absolutely it will. But I don't know, man. I just had a really sullen weekend, a whole weekend of just feeling like I was going through the motions, that I've been going through the motions for a while now. And I didn't have, the last thing I'll say is that those clothes, that was the first part about the clothes, was like realizing I didn't need them. And then the other side of it, which got so crazy, I mean, these were the thoughts in my head, was I need to not spend this $320 because if the world goes to shit and the violence and the anarchy breaks out and the government or the police can no longer maintain rule of law, and all of a sudden I can't afford to barter for tuna fish cans because I spent $320 on flannel shirts I didn't need, I'm going to hate myself for having purchased this. That's where my mind went. That's how extreme the train of thought became.
Right. Well, dude, I mean, that's a possibility always. If you really think, the illusion of sort of comfort and stability is a thing that is just that. It's an illusion. And this shows it. You know what I mean? Like, you got to let go, man. You can't control this kind of shit. And also, per your fantasy, if that all does happen, the world's going to need vigilantes, pal.
Yeah.
And I think you'll be ready to step up.
Yeah.
That'll give you some purpose.
Which makes me think I should be buying like leather motorcycle jackets. Stuff that can really endure and, I want to look like Denzel Washington in the Book of Eli or whatever it was called.
Charles Bronson, Death Wish.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I mean, maybe let's try to work through this. Like, I understand that feeling to a degree. I've tried to keep a lot of variety in my life to try to avoid it. Early on, I was doing a bunch of hiking, and I imagine the feeling that you're feeling is right around the corner for me and for everyone if it isn't already there. So, what do you think you got to do to pull yourself out of it? What makes you feel better today?
Well, my girlfriend, unbeknownst to me, has read now a couple books on dating somebody who has depression.
Wow.
And she has equipped herself with knowledge for how to speak to me and to deal with me when I am spiraling.
Wow.
And in this particular moment, we sat down at the kitchen counter and she grabbed my hands and got right in my face and said to me, "You are too fucking smart to lose to these thoughts."
Wow.
She said, "You're too smart of a person to let whatever's happening in your brain beat you."
Wow.
And that was really profound.
Powerful.
Because that stirred competitive feelings in me. And I started to look at what was happening and why I was feeling the way I was feeling as like an adversary or an opponent on a lacrosse field or a tennis court or whatever.
Right.
And then you can frame it as the things that you do are training. Everything you do to fight feeling like shit. If that something's going to set you off, whether it's, for me, things like not exercising enough or boy, I'll tell you, not eating enough has been a big one for me lately. Like having low blood sugar really tends to send me down the wormhole of despair. Making sure that I'm fucking snacking and not wandering around such that an empty stomach might all of a sudden turn me into a zombie of bad thoughts.
Right.
You can become proactive in the way that you would be proactive as a boxer training for a fight.
Yeah, no, dude, and totally. And I think this works across platforms as far as like, obviously with feeling depressed, but also when it comes to like, which we've talked about, like weight loss. Like if you view, you know what I mean? If you view weight loss as an opponent, you know what I mean? Like cake as your opponent or whatever. Like it makes it, you think you're going to fucking stop me, cake?
Right. Right.
Fuck you, cake.
Right.
Bitch. You know what I mean? No, but it's the same shit. It's
absolutely
really great mindset.
We talked so much about Michael Jordan during The Last Dance, and we mentioned his insane competitiveness, and we both thought that it was a little over the top, right?
Totally.
And admittedly, neither of us are competing to be the greatest NBA player of all time, so we have the ability to say that.
Yeah.
But one thing I remembered him doing was he would convince himself that an opponent on an opposite team had offended him personally. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He would take a tiny little thing that they had said in a press conference and he would blow it up, and that would serve as his motivation to personally defeat that person or that team, right?
Yeah.
And it didn't take much. That was what separated him, was that it took so little to make him angry inside.
Right.
And I think that if this, I don't know, I'll keep you guys posted, but if this technique works for me or helps in some way of framing, you know, dark days and sad thoughts and a feeling of hopelessness as just an opponent, I feel like I have the competitive drive, coming from a background of sports my whole life, where I can fight it as a tangible sort of beast.
Totally.
It takes a different shape, and you can start to find weaknesses and to chip away at them. You have a game plan. You have a scouting report for how to avoid that shit. And the only time it'll seep in is when I've come into a day unprepared.
Right.
Hopefully.
Right. Totally. And dude, those are great thoughts, man. And another thing that I would add to that is anytime, you know, you're feeling, especially in a situation like this where things are so extraordinarily odd and different. And I think it's important to try to focus on the positive things and even write them down. Like the days where you feel good, write down what you feel good about. And then the days that you feel bad, look back on it. Like for you, Francis, one thing that I would say is like, you think about how much money you've been saving. You know what I mean? And I know maybe that is less exciting than it was at first now that you're more used to it or whatever, but like these are positive, great things. And so when the day comes where you have to either get a new apartment or move to Maine, you'll be able to do it because you have more maybe financial flexibility since you're fortunate enough to still have your job, blah, 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 all that stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just an example, but like there's there's always something positive.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know.
I agree. You know, it's funny because my dad, after I told him about how I was feeling, he wrote me a long, thoughtful email. And I've gotten this sentiment from a lot of people too, which is everybody's feeling this way right now.
Right.
You know, it's not just people who are depressed. People who were not depressed before have started to feel feelings of sadness and depression that they thought maybe they were immune to. And everybody's sad. I hear it all the time. The most chipper people I know. I mean, this thing has worn on with, you know, this kind of affirmation from the news of like, it's just going to get worse and we're still a long way off. There doesn't seem to be much hope in sight. And then when you compound that with the civil unrest and the fucking horrible shootings and Jacob Blake and all, it's just one thing after another. It's easy to feel like, well, what's the point, you know? Right. And what I hear a lot and what I heard from my dad was everyone's feeling this way. You're not alone or you're not unusual. That doesn't really help me.
Right.
Feeling like knowing that other people, and it may help a lot of people, and I'm sure it does, knowing that they're not alone and that what they're feeling is normal. But that doesn't, I'm more looking for tangible ways, tactics for how to fucking pull myself out of feeling like shit.
Right.
And so what my girlfriend said was, I think, the most helpful thing I've heard. And hopefully that'll strike a chord with some people out there who are feeling the same way.
I think it's great, man.
Have you been buying anything?
No.
Have you bought anything recently that made you feel excited, like a kid?
Like buying, like not things, but like, purchasing, like this trip, for example. I think is a is example of something that would make me feel good.
It definitely will.
You know what I mean?
It definitely will.
Like, and it has. So like, I guess maybe, but like, I haven't bought any things. No, nothing. But I'll tell you what, dude. I mean, I packed light for this trip because I've had to endure all environments. I hiked Arches National Park the other day in 105-degree heat.
Oh my God.
My girlfriend honestly almost passed out, and it was really scary. And dude, there was this like ominous moment where we were walking up the trail and we saw some guy and he goes, "I don't mean to be nosy, but is that all the water you're bringing?" And we were like, and then we kind of looked at each other. We were like, and by the time we got to the top of this magnificent hike with this giant arch overlooking this huge valley of all these rocks, we saw some other guy up there who's like a Fenway beer guy. And we told him that guy had said that. He goes, "I was thinking the same thing." But dude, by the time we got down, like, I thought that she was going to, like, it was scary. It was actually fucked up.
At what point did you finish your water?
At the end of the trail, we conserved it.
You managed to parse it out the whole way?
Yes. And
I'm impressed. How much did you bring?
One big Evian bottle.
So like a 64 ouncer or something?
No, it was like a 32 ouncer. And this is a 3-mile hike. It wasn't hard. Altitude, like climbing up, you know what I mean? But it was scary. But my point is, so I've had to endure that. And now I'm going to Alaska, and to where I'm going to Alaska, one of the locations is so far north, it's going to be 30 degrees. So I've had to pack lightly, which is why I'm so fortunate that I feel so fortunate that I have my bird dogs with me, dude, because not only are they shorts, but they also double as swimming trunks. If I want to take a polar plunge, I can hop in the ocean there. If I want to go in the sauna, like any activity, it just allows me to pack lightly and be more versatile. And I just love my bird dogs, dude.
Hell yeah, dude. I love it. I'm wearing them right now, actually. The pants are my favorite. I wear them for everything, golf and dunking on people.
It's incredible that they've been able to expand to the pant. I'm excited for mine to come because, I mean, I've been so excited about the shorts. Obviously, they have the incredibly comfortable silk lining inside that are just so versatile for literally every moment. It's true, dude.
You really are remarkable at transitioning into an ad. But you know what? I think this one is a good one for this because we're not being disingenuous. We really do love these products. The bird dogs, if you're a lady out there looking for a gift to get your boyfriend excited, to pull him out of his depression, get him a fun, funky, colorful pair of bird dogs, shorts or pants. We swear by them, and you can use code OOPS, right?
Yep, OOPS, to get 15% off.
Get 15% off right now from birddogs.com. They will also send you a free pair of nunchucks with your order.
You will literally get a murder weapon with your order.
Yeah, if you know what you're doing. If you really know how to use them, you could probably kill somebody.
So yeah, birddogs.com, promo code OOPS. I sort like, honestly, your boyfriend will be really excited. And if you're a guy, also like buy, like it's a solid.
Buy them for yourself, buy them for a buddy. I live in these things. Honestly, we talk. Yeah, I mean, just get them. Trust me.
Yeah, nostalgia. Happy that Bird Dog's back in the action.
Back in the game.
So it's very good.
Hell yeah. Well, you got an exciting time, and I think traveling is a very good way to keep things interesting and have something to look forward to.
Yes. And so this is the thing, dude. It's a little intimidating. And listen, wait till you hear what I had to go through today to get. All right. So I read today. So you need a test before arriving to Alaska a negative test within 72 hours of arrival, right?
You mentioned that, yeah.
And I've been on the road, so it's been impossible to do a test in any of the places that I've been. I'm finally in LA, and I was like, I found a place to get tested. They're like, perfect, you're going to get tested. Great. And you'll be fine. So I go and get tested this morning. Comes back negative. Great. But I look on the sheet, and I notice that it is an antigen test, which is different than the PCR test required to enter Alaska.
Oh, God.
There's two different ones. So I spent $125 on this test, and now realize that test is potentially obsolete. I read online, I read all the TripAdvisor forums. There is nothing that says you will be fine with an antigen test. It just will be like, people are like, we'll be fine with an antigen test, and other people replying being like, no, it says you need a PCR test, but nobody's like, I tried with an antigen test and it worked. So then what happens if you show up with a test that is invalid? You have to quarantine. You have to take a test at the airport for $250 and then quarantine until you get the results, which might take 2 to 5 days or something. So I'm like, fuck that. So dude, I found a place to take a PCR test for $225 and did that. I mean, so I've spent $350 on COVID testing today.
I mean, I like that sucks, but it doesn't surprise me.
Right. And who knows? I might get there and they might be fine that I just had it. My buddy took an antigen test too, is not going to take the PCR test. He's like, I'm just going to chance it. We'll see. Hopefully it works and we'll see what happens.
Have you done any of the antibody tests?
I've taken the antibody test as well a little while ago, and I was negative for that as well.
Uh-huh.
What about you?
No, I haven't done antibody. I mean, I don't even know if I see the point because the science is just so back and forth and saying that it is going to protect you. It isn't going to protect you. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to sift through the clutter.
Yeah.
To find good information.
We, dude, we were supposed to go to Jamaica.
Remember that?
March, and we were really excited about it. I had this image of sitting on a stone terrace overlooking Montego Bay or whatever it is, and
nice.
Having a waiter bring me a tray with joints arranged in like a circle.
Do they do that?
I think so. I think you can do that. I think that's possible depending on where you go. And just picking one off and being like, don't mind if I do. That was my I was really excited about that. And we rescheduled it for February. And we've come around the calendar enough that that's the next big thing I'm kind of looking forward to.
Right. And I think that Caribbean travel has similar guidelines where, like, if you show up with a test or whatever, some places they don't even care. Like Mexico, you can just go, I think. You just say you're fine. You just check a box. So I think you should look forward to that, man. That'll be a fun trip.
Yeah, that'll be fun. But I'm not sure. I wonder if there's something I could buy that would make me feel happier.
Is there anything you have in mind? A golf simulator?
I don't know. I'm pretty good on golf equipment. Also, I don't even know if I like golf anymore. I mentioned that.
Is that true? You really are like.
I don't know. That might just be an extension of misery, But
are you upset because you played badly in the club championship? Didn't that happen?
That definitely affected me.
We didn't talk about this yet. Can we talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, unless you don't feel like reliving.
No, I do. I played in the club championship. It was a mess. The night before, we had our good friends visiting us, and we stayed up till 1 a.m. playing Settlers of Catan. Smoking joints and drinking spicy mezcal margaritas that I was making, which basically meant that I would pour the glasses for everyone else and then just like drink from the cocktail mixer and then pour. I was drinking so much more.
Good, man. Good.
I wanted to get lubed up,
It's fun to get lubed up these days, man.
But my tee time was 8:20 in the morning on Saturday. And what I did was I Google mapped coffee shops on the route to the club in the morning. And I saw that this one, Maine Roasters Coffee, was going to be open at 7:30, and it was right on the way. So I said, boom, that's what I'll hit. I'll get my coffee, and then I'll arrive at the club around 7:50, which will give me half an hour to warm up before I have to get on the tee. And I got to Maine Roasters Coffee, and they had gone out of business like the day before.
What the fuck?
And Google Maps hadn't found out.
Oy.
So then I had to drive 10 minutes out of the way to go to a Starbucks, which I don't even like Starbucks. I fucking hate their coffee. And I was expecting to get like a breakfast bar from Maine Roasters. I know they make. That was out of the question. So I had to get that stupid egg white turkey bacon bullshit breakfast sandwich from Starbucks. And I only ever eat that when I'm at train stations or going on public transport, and I don't have a choice.
I've eaten 4 of those in the past week. 100% feel you. I never eat them unless I'm in transit.
When you're in transit, that's when you eat them.
That
when
exact
you're like,
sandwich. Yeah, that
I'm running away from home. Like, I need to eat Starbucks for breakfast. So I got that, and that meant that I didn't arrive at the club until 8:12. So I had 8 minutes, which at that point I was like, instead of warming up, I'll make a funny Instagram video about it. And I did that. I got on the first tee. I hit a good shot in the fairway, and I was thinking, all right, I'm okay. And then I topped my 9-iron approach into the sand trap in front of the green. I sculled my sand wedge over the green into the woods, found my ball, tried to chip it out. It hit a root, came back my way again, hit it out again, hit it up onto the green, and 2-putted, and I had an 8 on the first hole of the club championship. I had a snowman, a quadruple bogey. Now, this doesn't sound crazy to a lot of people, I'm sure, but I'm a 4 handicap, 3.9. So I'm a good golfer. I routinely shoot like 78, 79. And I haven't had an 8 on a hole in a long time. So the wheels were off before I even realized I was playing golf. And from that point forward, it was just kind of a comedy of errors. And by the 13th hole, I had given up, and I didn't care. I was goofing around. So I shot 102. And it finished dead last on the first day. Everyone came back for the second day. I walked into the pro shop and told them I wasn't going to keep playing, obviously. And they were surprised. They were like, "You sure? You really don't want to come back tomorrow?" I was like, "I shot 102. Are you aware of how little fun I had today?"
Well, dude, listen, that sucks. But you'll get the will to win back. I mean, at the end of the day, great champions are defined by their ability to put those bad misses behind them and look forward to the next shot.
I guess that's true. I guess that's what it is, isn't it? Hey,
it's all right, dude.
Speaking of overcoming the odds, okay, I'm working on a column, and I have this segment. I'm going to probably publish it on Wednesday, and I'll have this weekly column going for it, which I will want people to read, but I'm not promoting it quite yet. But I'm working on a segment called Unhung Heroes. And I put on my Instagram story a call for people to submit, especially women, stories of guys with small penises who had defied their expectations. Unhung heroes. Unhung heroes, right?
That's great.
And I got like 70 responses. Probably 40 of them were from dudes being like, might as well call it my autobiography, or like, why don't you just ask my wife? And you're like, all right, dude,
classic.
You're one of 40 making this joke.
Classic.
And then I got a bunch from women being like, it doesn't exist. Those guys don't exist. Or like crickets chirping, or being like, there are no men with small penises who have, actually whatever. But then I got like 4 or 5 that were actually what I was looking for. And I'd like to share 1 or 2 of those, if I may.
This is fucking great. Please.
So this is from a woman named Michelle. She said, on my 21st birthday, this friend of my roommate somehow made it to my party. I did not intend to have sex with him because he was 2 inches shorter than me. But in our drunken state, he procured about 200 Kristall's hamburgers. And that's apparently all it took for me back then. His penis was so small, I tried to get out of the sex briefly, but I committed and turned out to be an incredible surprise performance. He didn't go to my school, but the dick was so good, I found myself driving all over the state and fucking this guy whenever and wherever. Back in the days prior to quality cell service, I once found myself lost in the middle of nowhere, Georgia, at Walmart, asking for change to use a payphone to get directions to his penis. It exceeded my expectations, to say the least.
That is great.
Isn't that fantastic?
That is fantastic, dude. That is great. What a
I
great
really
idea,
like
man.
that. Now, I have so many thoughts. And the first thing is one common theme I found from the women who responded to this with actual stories was that the majority of they all said that these guys were very good in other aspects, whether they were really good at performing oral sex or fingering. And I think that's we've heard that before. I think maybe Sex and the City did an episode on that. Where like guys overcompensate by learning these other skills.
I mean, we did an episode about that too, sort of. Like we talked about that with Remy at one point.
That's right. And I think a lot of the women that I've been with in my life would admit that my oral sex skills are really lacking because of how big my penis is. I'm kidding, everybody. But here's the thing.
You're not kidding, dude. That's
well,
great.
no, I mean, I am. There's no causality there. I'm kidding. But here's my thing, right? Fingering, like, do you think that these guys know that they have small penises and then therefore do homework on fingering and oral sex?
Like maybe, dude. You know what I mean? Or about these women who are like, into women who kind of like convert women who are on the fence with their incredible oral skills. They literally have no penis. You know what I mean? I think
the clown has no penis.
You know what I mean, though? But I mean, dude, there's plenty of sort of. I don't think you need to get down on yourself if you're just walking around without packing heat between your legs. You know
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. And there were certainly enough women who, but they all did. A lot of them did mention that the guy was really good at either the foreplay aspect or just more attentive. And I think that is a very telling response, because it does make me think that guys who are confident in the size of their penis probably think they can let their penis do all the work. And it just reminds you of how that is only a small part of the broader pizza of sex.
Absolutely. Talent is only a small portion of the equation.
Yeah.
The rest is hard work.
Yeah. You can't, LeBron doesn't just show up on the court and be like, well, I'm the biggest, fastest guy here. I don't need to practice my free throws.
Correct.
I don't need to worry about dribbling. I'm going to be able to pound it down their throats the whole game. And there's nothing that, that's all I need to worry about.
Right. LeBron has worked on the mid-range jumper and the three for years.
LeBron's out there kissing necks and blowing in ear holes, He knows how to massage the game. He gets it. All right, let me read you another one, because I got a bunch of these and they're really fucking good. This one's kind of sad. This is not an unhung hero, but this girl goes, he came in 2 pumps and said, I'm sorry. I need to get used to how hot you are. Not exceeding expectations, but a terrible experience, to say the least.
Oh my God.
That makes me so sad.
I had to anticipate those.
I'm sorry. I just need to get. It's funny. It's a great, like, totally self-aware, honest thing to say. I'm sorry. I just don't typically, like, as a girl, you'd have to feel good.
Yeah.
I'm not used to women as attractive as you are. You made my penis explode. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I have a bunch. Hold on. Yeah, the guy with the tiniest dick I've seen or ever hooked up with ended up being decent because he fingered so unbelievably well. He also was one of the funniest, most charismatic guys I've ever met. Maybe we shouldn't be so quick to dismiss all guys with tiny dicks as compensating with giant trucks and anger issues. Maybe some of them are actually compensating in beneficial ways.
A fair conversation topic.
Okay, here we go. All right, I got one more for you. I once dated a Serbian guy who was super hot, but the smallest penis I've ever seen. He didn't get the memo that he had a baby dick because he walked around like he had a hammer. He did try his best in the sack, though, and probably one of the few men that could make me come multiple times, which I actually think was thanks to his baby dick. Sometimes when it's big and you come, you're donezo because it's like overwhelming. Anyway, not sure if that's what you're looking for, but good luck. You know, another affirmation that all these women I've just been giving single orgasms to are not able to carry on because I've overwhelmed them.
Great.
So, yeah, there's plenty of hope. I also think, though, that I think that a lot of these women some of them responded with things like one girl said, you know, really, really small penis. We were friends for a long time. One night we got drunk, we hooked up, and it actually turned out to be great. And his penis is curved and it hits the perfect spot.
Yeah.
And my first thought was like, well, if you can see a curve in the penis, that's not a small penis.
That's a good point too. Yeah, if it has that sort of like topographical change.
Yeah, if you can trace it, if it has a direction, that's not a small penis. And if it's hitting the perfect spot, that's not a small penis. A small penis, I'm talking about a penis where your best chance of getting off, ladies, is if you sit on top of it and treat it like a thimble or some kind of nub, maybe a bauble or the tassel of a pillow.
A nipple.
And just mash it. You mash it. Right? You don't even know if it's in. That's a small penis.
Yeah.
These crooked horns.
It's the sling blade penis.
Yeah, you have no frame of reference. I'm sorry. Those are not small penises.
So we salute all the unhung heroes out there.
We salute the unhung heroes. We certainly do. Don't worry about it, guys. If you're there's plenty of other stuff you can learn and you'll find somebody. But yeah, pretty interesting, I thought.
Totally. Well,
Yeah.
Francis, feel better, man. I'm glad that you're feeling a little bit better today. I think things are going to turn around for sure.
Yeah.
And we'll keep fucking banging out these pod episodes.
Hell yeah. We'll be upbeat and just, stay strong, everybody. There's definitely, I don't want to say light at the end of the tunnel, but there's light within the tunnel.
I like that.
Just came up with that. That's amazing. I'm going to get
I like
it
that very much. I like that very much, dude.
Cool. All right, guys. We're Oops the Podcast. Send in your stories of unhung heroes if you can. oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. Follow him, not Julio, with a J, on Instagram. I'm Francis CCLS. We love you. As always, we'll see you next week.
If you like that video, check out our channel where we have way more videos. I just don't know how to do this. This is unbelievable. If you like that video, we have way more videos on our channel. Please like and subscribe. Turn on notifications if you want to know when there are new ones. But if not, check them out, and we appreciate it.
Oops.